Welcome to this new how-to. In this how-to we're gonna configure the flight plan in our X Cub airplane. Currently we're located in Tokyo, Japan. So the first thing we're gonna do is switch on the needed systems so we can configure the flight plan. Recommendation is always to make sure that your engine is started because else the battery will die. So if you will leave the airplane too long in this mode, the battery will stop and I would say you're kind of screwed. Or you can of course use in this case the 4 option and then I'll see if there are any options. For example, if you go to the ground services, in some case you can request for an external fuel power supply, but that's only available for bigger airplanes. This one doesn't have it, so you can't do it. So as you can see, we're located on an airplane on a parking spot, and what you need to do is you need to press the FPL button and say active flight plan. The first thing you're gonna do is you're gonna add the default or at the location from where you are departing. So let me go back a bit, and in this case it's Romeo Juliet Alpha Alpha. So let's add it to our map and let's find out where we are. We're at Narita International Airport, so we're gonna press add and then we can scroll down and you can do 2 things. You can either add en route waypoints, which are the waypoints which we are visiting during our flight, or you can add a destination. But let's first zoom out on the map a bit and see where we are going to fly to. So let's fly to this one, Romeo Juliet Alpha India. So Romeo Juliet Alpha India, and that's Army Airport. Fine. So by default it will set a straight line, right? So if we zoom out a bit, it will set a straight line from one airport to the other one. But what if we want to make, I would say, a little bit of diversion? So that's where we use the add en route waypoints options. And you can see there are a lot of waypoints. Some of the waypoints are called star waypoints, which are used to define a route to, for example, a runway, but also during takeoff you can use those star waypoints. I'll show it in a few minutes how you can use them. But for now we're gonna simply add some waypoints. So the first one we're gonna add is Tetra. So you press the option again and then you can add the waypoint, and here it says I found multiple ones. Well, in this case we need to select the upper one because that's pretty close to us, and you can see that directly after you did that it changes the route and it marks the first part, so from the airport to the first waypoint, as pink, which means it's the active leg. So the next one we're gonna add is COPSE. So we need to scroll down a bit. COPSE, hit enter again and we'll change it. Then we're gonna go to Denny, gonna select the closest one, then to Nifty, and then we're gonna go to Sweet. Nice names are those waypoints. Oh. Swift. And here sometimes comes the challenges, right? Sometimes Flight Simulator doesn't recognize the waypoints. Oh, sweet, maybe I made a typo, let me double check. Yeah, I made an error. Sometimes it doesn't recognize, and that's where we're gonna discuss the star waypoints or the star points. Those are being used to make sure that you're following a right pattern to the runway or when you're leaving, then you're following a specific pattern to leave the airport and leave the airspace. So let's go ahead and first add some more waypoints. Let's see. Let's add TLD. And then we're there, so that's pretty nice, right? So I'm gonna check the map, zoom out a bit, and if you click on the aircraft, you will go directly to the aircraft. So we're flying a left circle and then back to the destination airport. Now let's use the other buttons, right? So there's the proc button, which is seen here. Let me zoom in a bit. And when you use that option, you will come into the same menu as where you can configure the active flight plan or change the navigation or communication frequencies, or go back to the map. And we're gonna click on procedures. And this is where you see three options: departure, arrival, and approach. So for now, we're gonna use the departure option because we want to leave from the airport. You can see that the airport is already populated. Departure is also already selected, and transition is none. And the transition allows you to transition to a different airspace. You will see that if you click on the departure button, and if you would select another one, let me see which one it was. For example, this one, so OL Van 2, it changes the transition to Samus. But for now, we're gonna go back to Akagi. So what will happen now is that these waypoints are, if you press the load button, of course, are added to your flight plan, but they are added prior to the en route waypoints. So what it will do is you will leave from runway 16 left, then first go to all the star waypoints, and then it will take you back to the en route waypoints. So if we would press load now, and then go back to the map or to our flight plan, you will see that our route has changed immensely, right? So now it first wants us to make a left turn after we left the airport, then first fly, I would say, inside the country. Then when we almost hit Akagi, we will fly back to Tetra, right? So this is not a very useful, I would say, selection of our departure. So let's select the other one. So Samus, let's load it. Go back. Go to the map, and let's see if this helps. This is, well, I would say it's a better one, right? So it sends us on the sea, then when we're on the sea, it sends us back to Tetra, and then we can go back to, or we'll fly to our destination. So if you see this and you think, hey, it's not really what I want, then the easy way to remove them is go back to procedures, select it, and click on remove. The same thing you can do for the approach. So Army Airport is our approach. You can select the approach normally, and you can select the transition. However, it depends on which destination airport you are. For some airports, these are simply not available, but for the larger airports, they are available. So once you have selected an approach, you can press load and activate, and it will add the waypoints to your flight plan. So what are other options in the flight plan region? Well, there's the nearest button, which you can find here. The nearest button will show you the closest airports in the region, and based on that you can, for example, if we go to this one, you can say insert in flight plan. That will be inserted as an additional waypoint. For example, you can say, hey, I want to insert it before a specific waypoint. or after a specific waypoint, or I want to add it as the end, so as the destination. I think if you scroll up to the top, you don't have the option to say okay, or you have the option here. Let me try it. No, this is not clickable, although the mouse might think you can click on it. You can't. So you can only add, I would say, change the destination, which makes sense, right? Because you can't take the airplane from where it's currently standing and then move it to another one. Or you can add it as one of the additional waypoints here. So let me do it here. So let me see if there's approach now. And here's what I mentioned, right? So for Shimofusa arrow, we can say, okay, hey, we want to take an approach, and you can either do that VOR approach or ILS approach, well, ILS 19Y, and then you can say, okay, add those waypoints also to my flight plan. And then it will look like this. So now we're flying via TLD, then make a left turn, and then we're coming close to our destination. And if we follow the flight plan correctly, and if the airplane has the ILS functionality, you can use the ILS functionality to make a safe landing on the destination airport. So what are other options? Well, the last option is the direct option. And the direct option allows you to add a specific waypoint, or in our case, a specific let's say airport, and you can say activate directly, and then it will add a route to a wait plan which directly goes to our end destination. Well, in our case, we don't want to do it, so we will leave it as is. Other options, well, there are no more other options besides changing the communication and navigation frequencies. So here also ends our tutorial on how to configure a flight plan in our X Cub aircraft. If you like this video, then consider to press the like button. If you've got questions or comments, then use the comments below the video. And if you'd like to see more of these videos, then consider to subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.